Hello there, nerds. Welcome to the Nerd Rundown podcast, where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I'm your host today, Darren Stemple. I've got some of my fellow nerds with me today, including my co-pilots, Eric Hare.
Greetings, fellow nerds.
And Black Morgan Chrysanthemum Santo.
Why, hello.
So man, I never connected the Santo nickname to you. Back on the show with us, we have Mego Peaches.
Hey.
You can call her Meg. And Jay Sparks.
Hey.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks, man. Good to be here.
Per the usual, you can find us on our social media like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, all at the Nerd Rundown. And while you're there, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment. We had a big week with that. I was very happy, so thank you all for that. We love interacting with y'all, so leave your comments as much as you possibly can. And obviously, you can listen to us on all the other major podcast services. I'm so excited for a fantastic show that we all have for you today to cover some of the biggest news items from the past week on the rundown. And then we'll cap off the show with the Nerd Box. So, on the first part of the rundown, I've been waiting all week to get here to nerd out with y'all because we got a trailer for the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series coming in May on May 25th. I'm just gonna pass it off because I'll probably just go on a tangent. If I don't pass off, I'm gonna start with you, Eric. Right off the bat, what are you most excited for from the Kenobi show?
Okay, yeah. So Vader, I really am I'm just excited to see where they go with Vader. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Hayden Christensen get another shot that doesn't involve dialogue from George Lucas. So I really am just I'm just looking forward to that. I really am. So I think I even if this trailer is like it, I'm actually good. Like the trailer was that good. I'm like,
sold.
okay,
I
well,
am so sold.
If that was the end of the show, I'm like, all right, awesome. Like it was just cool to see him, like kind of looking over Luke, and because this is something you always thought he was there to do to begin with. So seeing young Luke play, on the moisture farm, and then having him kind of just keeping an eye on things and all that other stuff. But I think I'm really interested to see how the Jedi hunting stuff happens and how they, how do they do that and all that. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the trailer. I think it looks great. I really do.
Those 2 points I have for us to cover here in a bit. So I'm going to put some 2 pins in those. So good points, Eric. And Jason, you are a Star Wars nerd, maybe as even more than I am. And I know you brought up such a good point earlier. It feels like we've been very negative about Star Wars on the show, maybe for good measure. However, this lit a Star Wars flame in me, and so the question I have for you, Jason, first off, is I feel like maybe the most consistent thing in Star Wars that never gets any flack from us is the music. And in this trailer, they have a couple leitmotifs from some of the previous music, and it sounds amazing. So what did you think about the music in the trailer?
Well,
Star Wars music, man.
Yeah, I think that's almost too easy. It fits Star Wars perfectly. I mean, it felt exactly like it's supposed to feel. Nothing felt out of place. So, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot to say other than, I don't think that they deviated from what it should have been for these trailers. Not on the music.
No.
There's a lot to talk about with this trailer, and Eric kind of said some small things about, but like the Inquisitors coming in is probably maybe the biggest thing for me that I'm excited about. Seeing the Grand Inquisitor show up, the Fifth Brothers there. I think they're introducing Reva finally. At least that's what it looks like.
Yep.
So that part of it, and even just like another Star Wars thing that's actually going to have a whole lot of lightsaber fighting in it. Mm-hmm. That's probably the thing I'm excited, because a lot of the stuff we've been getting is characters that don't really have anything to do with Jedis, and I know we got to see the Darksaber a little bit recently, but getting back to that is probably. I know you didn't ask any of this whatsoever. No, it's okay. My question is so easy to like just man, it's freaking great. You know?
but the second part of my question to you was did you get an Obi Boney when Duel of Fate started? I sure did.
Boney from
Duel of Fate. Oh man!
So, what did I say it was the other day when your Obi-Wan gets the high ground?
High ground.
That Duel of Fate started playing, and I was like, oh, I was so excited for that.
Yeah. It looks like there's a chance that we're going to get a pretty phenomenal show.
Yeah. And I have a couple pins and a couple points you made, so we'll get back to that.
Sounds good.
Next for you, Meg. So what this show feels like it's doing is it's connecting 3 sections of Star Wars fandom. It's connecting original trilogy fans, it's connecting prequel fans, and it's connecting the Disney Plus series Star Wars fans. And not saying that they only like those things. But within the Star Wars umbrella, you can kind of break it down into those maybe divisions, if you want to call them. Mm-hmm. So where do you think you fall in the Star Wars fandom, at being a newer to the Star Wars universe nerd? But where do you think you fit in on that fandom? And does this trailer get you hyped?
So I'm definitely hyped about it. I think I'm falling into that third group of people, the Disney Plus people and the newer trilogy people. And I think I know, and you guys like hate on that so bad, and I really enjoyed those movies.
No, it was not to you. Maybe that was to this episode.
To the third trilogy.
I didn't hate him that much.
Okay, well, you also think your opinions on Luke. So anyway, but.
So I was trying to go a whole show without bringing that up.
Yeah, I know you guys hate on the third trilogy so much, but I really like that. But I think of all of them, Rogue One was the top for me. But yeah, Obi-Wan definitely, like this trailer. I was a little bit hyped for the Book of Boba Fett, and that was a major letdown. So I'm hoping that this kind of, revamps that and makes it awesome, because it looks awesome.
Yeah.
It for sure looks amazing. Morgan, you're like me. You'll watch Easter egg videos. You'll dive deep into the theories. So with the show, it's showing Obi-Wan is going off planet. He's going to a different world. It's called Daiyu. It's a new Star Wars world that we haven't seen yet, so that's exciting. Here's a guy who's taken an oath to protect Luke Skywalker at all costs. But going off planet, he has to kind of maybe break that oath, and there has to be a really good reason for Obi-Wan to go off planet. What do you think is the reason that Obi-Wan has to visit another world?
I think it's just going to be he's going to hear rumblings about the Inquisitors and stuff through Tatooine. He's going to get intel, and I think he's going to have to go off planet because I think they're going to be getting dangerously close to Tatooine. So I think he's going to go off planet to follow some of them or whoever, just to kind of see if they are going to go, what the plan is. And then, things are going to happen. He's going to get caught, they're going to find out that's what's going to happen. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything too crazy behind why he's going.
I think it's got to be something stronger than that to get him to go off planet. So I have two kind of theories. One is there's maybe a Jedi that survived the purge, and he's found Kenobi on Tatooine, and he's the one using the Force all without hesitation while Obi-Wan has had to not use the Force so he's not detected. I think so. This guy comes to Tatooine to find Kenobi to help maybe start the new Jedi Order, or tries to get him to start a new Jedi Order, and they detect the other guy, and so they come to Tatooine to kill that young Jedi or another Jedi, and then maybe they run into Kenobi at that point. Although we know that those Inquisitors live past this show, like
do you have any theories as to who that Jedi would be? Is it someone we've seen, or is this like to you? Is it a whole new character?
Like my own personal dream would be Cal Kestis from the Fallen Order Jedi video game. That would be amazing if that is. It could be at that time. We don't know about a whole lot of Jedi at that time, so it's hard to say who else it could be. My wish would be for Cal Kestis. But another theory that I think holds a little bit more weight, and let me know what you think of this.
Sure.
Leia gets in trouble. And if there's anything stronger than protecting Luke, it's protecting Leia. And if Leia gets in trouble, and that's the reason Obi-Wan has to go off planet and runs into the Inquisitors, whatever it might be. But it is confirmed. So Eric, you said this was the number one thing you're excited for. It is confirmed that Obi-Wan and Vader are going to have a duel. And they tease it in the trailer just through the music. So
right.
They didn't actually show, those two going face to face. But they also released a still this week, a picture from the show of Vader, and man, that gave me some Empire Strikes Back vibes, like chills up my spine for that. So what do you think, Jason? Since you had a little bit of feedback on the first theory, what do you think is the stronger of those two theories?
Well, I mean, I don't think any of that needs to be restated, and I don't know that either of them are stronger than the other. I also think that there's the small possibility Ezra Bridger from the Rebel series show up. I'm basing that on things that I've read online about how he potentially may not actually be done, and he may be showing up in other things, and the timeline works out for me to think that he has the possibility of showing up. So and I would love to see him in the live action series. So part of that's my desire to see him in live action, and the other is, I think your guesses are completely possible and completely valid. All of them. I don't have an argument for that, especially because this isn't, I don't know what source material they're even going to pull from to put this story together. It's going to be phenomenal to watch what Obi-Wan was doing in the background during the time period that we haven't actually seen anything of. So, honestly, as long as the plot line and the dialogue and the action is put together well, I don't know that there's necessarily a right or a wrong way to put this thing together. So
yeah, I'm just so excited. With the shows that we've gotten in the Star Wars universe, the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, those were relatively unknown. I mean, obviously Mandalorian was definitely unknown, but Boba Fett didn't have a lot of history, very well known, but not a lot of history. Kenobi is, like I said, it is connecting three different fandoms, and there's so much love for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think he's the greatest Jedi of all time. Not different from being the greatest hero of all time, but the greatest Jedi of all time, in my mind, is Obi-Wan. Eric, we get to see the Lars Homestead, and they're bringing back Joel Edgerton, what a get in 2005 from George Lucas for that. Like, he was very well unknown at that time. Now he's a big time actor, so he's back. He has a quick scene. You could feel the tension in the scene just through Joel's face in that. I'm very excited to see Owen get his backstory, because we don't really know why he has this disdain for Obi-Wan. He calls him a crazy old wizard and to stay away from him. So there has to be something there that happens between Owen and Owen and Obi-Wan. We'll say that 10 times fast to create that tension and have him be like, you stay away from my family. What do you think it might be? Are you excited to see Joel Edgerton back as Owen Lars.
Yes, he really is a phenomenal actor, and you're right for him to get originally cast so early on in his career, and then to go on and have a really great career, because a lot of people, frankly, Hayden Christensen for one example, never really did. So so for him to have that role and everything, I mean, it looks to me like Luke is around 8. I mean, this looks like it's about 8 years after. Is it 10 years? Okay. So 10 years after. So, I think, I'm sure that there are things that happen between Obi-Wan and Lars as they go through this, but I think a lot of it has more to do with Anakin leaving and just that bitterness of he stayed behind on Tatooine and he's worked the moisture farm, and Anakin, went off planet, had these great adventures, and then Obi-Wan is a reminder to him of how upset or how much like jealousy or whatever he has for Anakin for going off and doing these other things. So it could be some projection there. I don't know, but I think getting more backstory. I know this is terrible, but there's a lot of stuff that we see that like nobody's asking for this. Like nobody's asking for like, hey, I want to see more Lars. Like if I really want a backstory from that guy, and,
right.
Like, hey, could we? Nobody's like, whatever. So if we anecdotally get more backstory on Lars, great, but honestly, I'm not gonna. I mean, the guy, I know how it ends for him, and it's not good. So it's
a bit crispy. Things get a little hot.
Give it up on barbecue, or whatever. But so I think it's going to be cool to get more fill in the gap stuff, but. I'm really interested to see how Obi-Wan either interacts with Luke or doesn't interact with Luke, and maybe that's through Lars is who that interaction takes, or that that guidance takes place. But so I'm kind of curious to see how that unfolds. But yeah, like I said earlier, with the Mandalorian delivered on all the promises again, because our expectations were super low and, for Star Wars wise. And so they were able to slide in and go, hey, we're going to give you some really good Star Wars content. This is a minefield for them. I mean, it really is a minefield because it is loaded. Like you said, it kind of hits in 3 different places, for like the fandom or whatever. So this is a bit of a gamble, and you're going to have a hardcore element of fans that if it doesn't meet their rigid expectations, they're going to be upset. Yeah. And so, but I don't know that I fall in that any longer. Like it couldn't. To me, The Last Jedi, it's like it can't get any worse than that, guys. Like it really can't get any worse than that. So, I have a feeling this is going to be good. I really do. At least I hope so. And
you're so right though. Like this has got to be. Well, I mean, aside from the people that have given up hope, like Eric, this has to be like one of the most difficult shows to make without just getting torn apart.
Yeah.
I mean, because Boba Fett was a hard thing to do. Like if you're gonna go make this show about, as Darren put it, like one of the most important characters, debatable whether he's the best Jedi ever, and we should do a whole episode about that because we should.
I love that. I would.
So many say about that.
I'd love to hear it. But that's a good show.
But unbelievably difficult to make a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi without just making so many people disappointed, because
the Star Wars fandom is vicious.
Yeah, they are, and they have too many ideas about what's supposed to happen as opposed to letting the person creating it tell them what happened. And that
exactly.
That's like I fall into that. That's me in Last Jedi. Like I was hoping for something and I didn't get it, and that's why it's not the only reason I think that there's a lot to be said there, but
Sure.
I definitely fall into that. Yeah. Last point on this, because I almost thought about doing the presents over this entire trailer just because
We could.
last 2 days have been a Star
Yeah,
Wars
we'll have to-
flame for me.
We're going to have to go quick through the other stuff.
But the Sith Inquisitors look scary AF in this, led by the Grand Inquisitor, who's played by Rupert Friend, who you may know as the Hitman, or he was in Homeland. He was like kind of the badass in Homeland. His voice for this role, just his little couple lines that he had in this trailer gave me chills. Like he seems so scary, and then he gets his helicopter lightsaber going, and he never breaks eye contact with the guy. You know, where is he? It was just the way he says it. We always talk about it on the show. We need a good villain to balance out a good hero story. And when you do that, you get gold. And I think we're going to get that in this show. I'm so freaking pumped for this. I cannot wait. I'm sure we'll be talking about it more and more, especially as time comes. I'd love to do a weekly show about it. When we do our What Kind of Nerd Are You show, I know Jason and I are hopping on a Star Wars episode on that one because I could talk Star Wars endlessly. But next on the rundown, the other kind of nerd I am for sure is the MCU nerd. We've gotten word this week that a new season of Daredevil is coming. And yes, please, I'm very excited about this. Not a lot of details, but Charlie Cox was in the Middle East Comic-Con, and he was being interviewed, and he was talking about how it's not going to be a direct continuation of the Netflix show with the whole multiverse. Everything is up in the air for what they can do. But he said he definitely doesn't want to take it as a direct continuation from that show. So could give us, a pocket of time where other things developed and happened, and I'm so excited for more Daredevil. He's one of my top 5 heroes of all time. The TV show was phenomenal. Charlie Cox is one of the most well-cast characters of all time. Morgan, I know you're freaking pumped about this. Where do you think they'll take a new season of Daredevil?
Yeah, well, yeah, like they said, it's not going to be a direct continuation. I think we're going to get some of the, spoiler alert, some of the Spider-Man time when he's, because I think that's how they're going to open up with that at least, and talking maybe about that case just a little bit to help work in that multiverse stuff. But I'm really excited. I'm praying that they do it right and keep it right. I've been seeing people have been leaking videos of recording with their cell phones. John Bernthal, who plays the Punisher, has been filming something, and he has a very Punisher look in these videos where just that, like, just when he's walking, how he's just watching stuff, like that's how he looks in the little clip. So who knows? I'm just that's again just dreaming. But no, I'm excited. More Daredevil.
There's a lot of Daredevil stories where they could take it with either Kingpin or other villains in the Daredevil Rogues Gallery. Even Bullseye was set up at the end of season 2 to be something down the road. Mm-hmm. So looking forward to that. Eric, I know you're a fan of the show. On Netflix, it was a pretty brutal show. It's now on Disney Plus for sure, and even Disney Plus came under fire. I have air quotes there from like a parent group that was mad that their kid could stumble on one of these shows on Disney Plus.
They're going to put everything behind a pin. That content's going to be loaded behind a custom pin that you have to create or whatever. So, which is fine. I think. Fine.
Every Disney movie, the parents die within the first 10 minutes of it. Really crazy Disney shit out there.
Right. Murdoch is a really good lawyer, and I think if there's anything we need more of, it's more attorney shows. Like, we just don't have enough TV shows that revolve around the law or order. Like a Law and Order type show. I don't know.
Dun, dun.
I don't know if that's ever been done before or not. If there's, yeah. So no, I more Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock is going to be great. I'm curious to see how they do it. I'm a big fan of the smaller superhero type guys. The neighborhood.
Ground level.
Yeah, the ground level guys. And so Daredevil. My hope, and this is really obscure and really kind of super nerdy, I am hoping for another one shot like they did in that first season where
the hallway fight.
That hallway scene. I'm like, wouldn't it be like, it would be totally cool to get another one of those. I mean, I know those are one of those
one
things
take.
You can only do
those are some of my favorite scenes ever. I love
you
that.
can only do them like every once in a while, otherwise it just doesn't work. But
they did one per season. They did one per season in Daredevil. So I'm sure they would like to continue that.
Yeah. Like I loved that first season one was just bonkers. It was so good. And
it was so good.
I'd love to see more of that. So as long as that creative team stays intact, as long as they can bring back, much of the original cast as they possibly can. I can't imagine that the other folks that were in the original cast wouldn't want to continue to tell those stories. At least everything that I've seen, they all are still on board. So that would be great. So more Daredevil on Disney Plus. Putting it behind a pin, I don't have a problem with it.
Totally fine.
They bought all the content. I mean, unless they want to spin up another channel that's just, I don't know, like
the pin works.
The pin works. Yep.
Yeah. It's where you can put all the adult cartoons.
Jason knows where all the adult cartoons are.
Jason knows that. Can we use your password, Jason?
I can direct you to like you're gonna be good.
I can't wait. Daredevil is rumored to pop up in She-Hulk later this year. So there's another lawyer show for you, Eric. He's the Echo TV show that's supposed to come out in the next couple of years. He's supposed to be in that. So he's going to be popping up all over the MCU. Can't get enough Daredevil. Great news for us Daredevil fans. Next on the rundown, Chris Pratt. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think it was even one of the Meg shows. Mm-hmm. The Terminal List got a teaser trailer released. So we had just a still of it before. I'm going to go to you, Meg. I feel like you haven't talked in a while, so I apologize for that. So I'll start with you, Meg. What did you think of the Terminal List trailer with Chris Pratt?
I'm even more pumped for this. He looks like such a badass. And like I said before, I like seeing him outside of that typical funny role that he typically plays. Like I love him in that. And he's great because he is hilarious, but I really want to see him just kicking ass. And that's what this looks like. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, he looks like a real badass, especially when he had the axe there at the end. Eric, I know you're pumped for this. You've read the book?
Yep. Yeah, I read the first book. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. My dad was worked with the Navy SEALs for a while. He was not a Navy SEAL, but he worked with the Navy SEALs for a long time. So I've been around the team guys. I've met a few of those guys at some point in my life, and it's always cool to watch those dudes do their stuff, and so the author of that is a former Navy SEAL commander, and I know Chris this will be his second time playing a Navy SEAL, because he was in Zero Dark 30, and he was part of the dev group that took down bin Laden. So so I really enjoy this story. It's a fun setup to what will most likely be a pretty good series if it gets a good reception and Pratt's still on board to play. I think they'll get at least 2 or 3 good seasons out of it, because there's several books in the series that they can kind of work through on this. So yeah, I think it looks, and he does look like a badass in this. He really does. And if nothing else, Chris is a great dude. Like, I mean, he just is a great dude. Everybody who knows him and talks about him but I think the thing that a lot of people underestimate him is his preparation for roles, and especially this particular role. I know he's put a lot of work into getting prepared for this, and he wants to do this justice because he's very very involved in the veteran community, and so I think being able to portray military veteran, I think is very important to him. So I look forward to seeing it. I think it's gonna be pretty spectacular. So.
Yeah, hell yeah. And with it being on Amazon Prime, it could possibly, if they ever do this, you never know how these things work, set up like an Amazon Prime universe with, it would be my dream dude pairing of John Krasinski and
you had to
Chris
say
Pratt. Is this what you were going to say?
That's all I had for you.
You go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no,
go ahead.
Well, what you were going to say was so much more intelligent, I'm sure.
I was thinking about those two dudes kissing.
All I had for you is that they really almost have like a very similar path and career and background, where they both were just these, doofy
goofballs,
goofball characters, and then somehow one day they were just like the second in the movie.
Yeah, we're men. Yeah. We're men here.
Yeah.
It's I believe it's the Bruce Willis. That's the Bruce Willis guide to acting. The Bruce Willis guide to acting. You start off being a goofball comedian, and then
become a action star.
Yeah. And then but that was all I had to say. Was like I would love to see the two of them work together, because I think that the breadth of their work is so wide that I think that they have the ability to bring so much amazing performance to the action stuff, but also like you'd get some really cool comedy in it.
Yeah.
Whether it was even intended or not, like I think there were just things would happen on set that they didn't cut out. That's really cool.
It's funny that you brought up that they kind of start off as like the goofballs on their NBC, both on NBC TV shows. So that's where we all fell in love with these guys is The Office and Parks and Rec.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And I remember the first time
beards.
and now beards, it instantly became hot. I'll never forget the first time I saw John Krasinski. Take this for what it's worth. The first time I saw him with his shirt off when he was all jacked for 13 hours.
13 hours, yeah.
That movie.
My man. So very excited for the Terminal List. Yep. Next on the rundown, when we started this week and seeing everything that came out, and I started putting together the rundown. And it was like, for me, it was like banger after banger, Obi-Wan, Daredevil, Terminal List. The next thing, when I watched the trailer for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent starring Nick Cage, official trailer released, longest trailer that they've gotten. And it really gave an idea about the story of this movie. First of all, I laughed multiple times out loud from the trailer. I cannot wait for this movie. It has shot to I'd say definitely top 5, close to maybe top 3 most hyped movie for me this year. Let's start with you, Eric. I know you're not into this movie, so I'm going to go to Meg on this because I'm very excited to hear her hype level for this movie.
So I had no idea like what this was about or anything. I'd heard like the phrase of the title or whatever, but I hadn't seen anything about it. So when I watched it, I was like, wait, did he just say Nick Cage? Like, is he playing himself in this movie? And one of the comments on like one of the YouTube videos or something said like, this is the most meta thing ever. And it really it just looks so good. And I was never a huge Nick Cage fan. Of course, I've seen Con Air and, The Rock or whatever. So like that part was so funny.
Same as the character in the
same
trailer.
as the character, Ike Barinholtz's character. But that it's definitely moved up the list real quick after watching that trailer.
Nice. Well, Jason, I know you're not the biggest Nick Cage fan.
Yeah, no, not at all. The cool thing that I've seen Nick Cage do in a long time is I saw somebody the other day with a shirt that had Nick Cage's face on it, and underneath it said John Travolta.
That's great.
That is good.
And that T-shirt was the best performance I've seen Nick Cage.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow.
Burn.
All right, so aside from the
baby.
stupid thing, I was waiting for that, but aside from that, the trailer actually looks really good, and I kind of am hoping that this puts me in a place where I actually start to like Nick Cage, because the fact that he's going to play himself, and it looks like there's quite a bit of self-deprecating humor in it, that somehow it will be endearing, and it'll almost allow me to go back and forget whatever it was that messed me up about Nick Cage. And I can go back and watch a bunch of movies that I could enjoy a lot more.
Yeah.
The past. So yeah, I'm actually pretty psyched, man. It looks like a good shot for Nick Cage to do something different and open himself up to some new things. It's pretty cool looking.
Dude, that self-deprecating humor it's some of my favorite humor. That's why I love Conan O'Brien and how he makes fun of himself all the time.
For sure.
And so I think that's why this movie's like just tugging on my humor strings. So and more, I know you're my hype for this movie, and your hype is probably up there with mine.
Yeah. I'm unbelievably excited. When I first heard this movie announced, I was like, this is going to be, then you get the trailers and it's just unbelievable. Like in the whole plot of the CIA is going to use them, and it's just going to be great. I mean, you just don't, when he looks at that, he's like, is that supposed to be me? And he's looking at that statue.
It's grotesque.
He's like, it's grotesque. I'll give you $20,000 for it. I was like, yeah, that's Nick Cage. That's what we all expect. So I'm very excited for this. I think it's in my top 3 to see.
Pedro Pascal looks to be in like top comedic form for this. So I'm very excited for that.
You.
No, I'm 40. I'm a 40-year-old man. I've seen Con Air and Face Off.
I've seen Croods too.
Yeah, I haven't seen Croods. No, I haven't seen Croods too. I cannot freaking wait for that. I'm gonna go to the next thing on the rundown. Is today The Boys season 3 trailer was released. I'll pass it right off to you, Meg. You sent us this video. You found it first, so you got first dibs on feedback.
There was just so much, and I should have watched it more than once. I probably watched it twice, and I probably should have watched it more than that, just because there was so much going on in there. And I think I need to go back. I mean, I know they're going to do a recap of seasons 1 and 2, but the glowing eyes for Butcher, like what's going on there? There was just so much. And Homelander, God, he's such a dick. He's so good at that role.
He is so good at that.
He has the most punchable face I've ever seen, and like I just love to hate that guy.
Just ask some of the waiters he served. Too soon. Too soon.
You gotta wait until the trial's over.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and just I mean, like I'm not a huge fan of the gore, but like it's gonna be bloody, gory, nasty. But
the trailer was.
It was. I think I watched the Red Band trailer, so I mean, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But that show is just and it's so bizarre, and like I said, it looked as bizarre and effed up as ever. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. My husband and I sat down and watched that every week. We made time in our schedule and lack of sleep to watch that show because it's so good, so entertaining.
Oh yeah, it really is. And Butcher getting powered up is a good twist because he's always been an anti. What do they call him? A soup. Anti-soup. It makes him sound like anti-Superman, but anti-soups So him getting powers is a good twist, Mark.
Yeah, I think I think he's going to take some sort of drug that like can give you powers for a little bit. Because I think, at this
on purpose
spoilers,
or accidentally?
On purpose, because I think spoilers for the end of season 2, he saw what the kid's beam did to the girl superhero, and I mean, even Homelander couldn't do that to her with his beams. So I think he kind of realized like, I need to do this in order to kill him. It's the only option. But it's going to be a big focus. I think it's going to be a big struggle for him to do that. And I'm also really excited to see Soldier Boy, played by Dean Winchester.
Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles. And he's like a Captain America type, but of course, they're all effed up. So it's going to be like that. And like that part where he seemed like he's like being unhooked from wherever he's being stored, like he just looks like he's going to mess some things up.
Yeah. The big twist last season was that the suits are made, right? They're not born that way.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if Billy Butcher does power up on purpose.
And the head exploder, that thing too.
Oh yeah, like who?
Oh yeah. Well, no, that was Salt.
Was that?
Yeah, but that's like a big plot point because then
she's now like a senator or something.
Yeah, and he went to go campaign for her and get a job with her.
Right.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. Yep. All right. Well, that comes out in June. Yeah, June. That's what I said. So looking forward to that. We have next on the rundown. We have some DC movie news. So we had some delays, more delays for DC movies. Flash got pushed to next year, so that's not coming out this year, which is really funny after 2 weeks ago when they had a trailer for all the movies that came out this year, and Flash was a big part of that. So way to go DC on that one. And there was something else got delayed. Shazam got delayed a couple months, but it's still this year.
Aquaman.
Aquaman. Yep. Black Adam got moved a couple months, but still this year. So, and then Aquaman got delayed. So whatever on that one. But it's just
Super Pets.
We'll get to DC League of Super Pets, but that's coming out this year still.
Yeah, but it still got delayed. They moved it around.
Oh, that also got delayed. Well, there you go. I mean, it's DC in a nutshell. We talked about this. We're glutton for punishment with DC. And then on top of that, more knee-jerk reaction from the execs is they've come out and said that movies moving forward that they start making for DC will be standalone movies, and they're not going to be connected to a wider universe. And, that's the Batman just came out, and beforehand they were saying, oh, it could be a part of the universe, but now it's not. And moving forward, they're not going to be doing that. So this is DC in a nutshell. We've talked about it recently, but they really show their hand. They really show their hand on this one. Jason, you got something to say?
Never. No, I guess that's okay with me. I mean, it's really cool what Marvel's done with the MCU. But I don't think that means, or maybe it's actually even a smarter move for DC to not try and compete in that same arena, because I don't know that anything that we've seen from them makes me think that they would actually be a contender if they're if they're going to try and battle the MCU on creating this massive universe where everything ties in together. So it may be actually a better thing, and I think even that announcement is probably a smart idea so that people stop speculating about what could be and then being mad later when it's not. Now you just kind of know what's coming. So when you go to watch a movie, you get to enjoy that movie as that single, that's its own thing. And you don't have to worry about how it maybe ties into the next thing that DC is going to put out. And you can just, for me, let go of that notion and just enjoy it for what it is. So, actually might be a smart thing that they're doing.
I think that I can use that as a good segue to Morgan, because I know Morgan gets excited about the world building, and wants, you know, the Batman stuff to be a part of a wider universe. And so, Morgan, do you think the timing of the announcement coming post the Batman coming out makes it feel like it's a knee-jerk reaction? Because if they were having this announcement right after the Batman premiered, why not just say it before? And then it feels like they have that plan that we always like. What's the plan, DC? I don't know. What do you think, more? Is it?
Yeah, so I think this stuff, a lot of it's getting delayed because of the Batman. The Batman is now my favorite DC movie out there
Of all time.
Yeah, I love it. Live action DC movie. Okay. I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic Batman. So, but again, the thing that DC and what Warner Brothers is behind them, but that they always do, they get one. Oh, this is a success. So now we got to delay our movies and change them because we got to make it more like this. And it's just not going to seem right. It's not going to flow right. Like, I don't care about any of the other stuff. I now want a Matt Reeves Batman universe. That's what I want. They can stop with all the other crap. I don't care. I wanted the Matt Reeves Batman universe.
So you I guess you're saying you just want to see a continuation of Robert Pattinson and.
Yep. And I want them to build that out. I would rather that than anything else they're doing right now.
Cool.
Big praise. Eric, where are you at on this news from DC?
Well, they managed to step on their dick every chance they get, you know? I mean, it just is like, it just drives me.
Don't you hate when you do that?
Yeah, it drives me crazy, you know? It's like, all right. Like they have this like
Obi-Wan
well received.
I'm flexible enough to do that.
Version of the Batman, you know, like, and then they and to sugarcoat it, they make my man DJ be the bearer of bad news. You know, basically they put it on him and they're like, hey man, can you get on Instagram and tell everybody that we've got to push everything, we've got to push the whole schedule back.
I won't be mad at you.
Yeah,
all the kids are like, it's that guy from Fortnite.
Yeah,
they made The Rock do that.
They that's how they announced it. Was they put it? They made DJ
so stupid.
Yeah, it just is like, come on, man. And you know, and most fans are like, oh, it's DJ. You know, all right, if DJ says it's going to be that,
he's endorsing it. All right.
Yeah, and all right, I'm all for it.
Oh my God. They just
I don't want to get the people's elbow.
They just get in a room and say, what's the nicest and lightest way that we can tell everybody without too much, you know, pushback? And they're like, hey, DJ, do it. DJ. And he was like,
well, he announced it for just Black Adam, and then then it got announced like later that day that Flash and Aquaman. So I was like, oh, we'll warm him up with DJ, and then maybe this gets thrown in the trash bin after that. But it was not that. So
I'm not going to argue with Morgan about where this falls in the Batman. I loved the Batman. It was really, really good. It was really, really good. You know, the fact that they want to leave it as a standalone, I'm not upset about that. That really doesn't bother me either. I think the Gotham that they built is pretty good. You know, they set up a whole rogues gallery of people that you know could potentially show up. You know, they introduced potentially Catwoman. You know, they introduced you know, potentially the Penguin. They you know of who we know to be those characters. We got a small taste of what we think might be the Joker. You know,
what?
Yeah. So I'm not going to spoil. There's no spoilers or anything.
I feel like that's a spoiler.
Well, but you don't know. Like you don't know. So that's the thing about it.
Maybe but I don't know if you should go into that.
I will tell you though that DC, they're such dicks sometimes, you know. Yeah. like don't stay for the post-credit scenes, because it's like they trolled. Like literally, you have these rabid fans who are going to go see this thing and troll you at the end.
Yeah, don't stay.
It's like you just trolled people who shelled out
code.
3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours of their time, and you made them stay for an extra 15 minutes of credits for nothing, you know. And it's like, but that's DC. That's DC. You know?
I will say that site did update the Riddler code site. and they're announcing some. It seems like they're announcing something this month.
Oh, interesting.
That's a countdown to something, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so I'll this is DC in a nutshell, man. It really
Right.
is.
Yeah.
The Batman was good. I'm looking forward to Black Adam. The rest of the slate, with the exception of the Flash, like Aquaman, I have no interest whatsoever.
Well, Shazam though now has been pushed into this year.
Yeah.
So Shazam was going to release next year, and now that is coming this year. So
I'll take Shazam. I liked the first one. Yeah, I liked the first one. So
yeah.
if they want to do that, I agree with Morgan. More of Matt Reeves, the Batman, I don't think is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think if anything, if I could get more Batmobile, I will take it, because that was
scene.
one of the most amazing scenes.
Phenomenal.
I could feel that engine on that car in my chest. It was just
that was the best introduction of the Batmobile I've ever seen.
It was spectacular, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool!"
And I'll say, I call back to the Batman episode, and we talked about they're doing the Penguin spinoff show. I can officially say I am very excited to see that now. Colin Farrell as the Penguin was phenomenal. He was phenomenal in this.
How are they releasing that?
HBO.
HBO Max, yeah.
Well, cool, because that was actually one of my questions sitting here that I was going to save to talk about afterwards. But the fact that they're not going to do a broader universe, I was still interested to see if any of these characters from the Batman were actually interesting enough that they could potentially.
Oh yeah, I'd watch a show about any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I remember, when they released the earlier Catwoman movies and stuff, and it didn't. I mean, it just didn't go.
Halle Berry.
Yeah, I mean that was. Okay.
No.
Low point in superhero movies.
Yeah.
No, all the characters are great. Zoe Kravitz was phenomenal as the Catwoman. I would watch a show or a movie about her playing that role any day. They were all great. The whole universe was fantastic. Everybody in it. The Riddler was fantastic.
Somebody else just recently told me, the first bit of his feedback, no spoilers. He was like, "Dude, Colin Farrell killed it." So
killed it.
I'll move on from DC, because who wants to spend any more time with them? Deadpool 3 has a director. It is Sean Levy, who has been working with Ryan Reynolds on Free Guy and on the Atom Project. And so good news that Deadpool 3 has got a director, which means we're getting a Deadpool 3, and it will be part of the MCU. So that's exciting. Really interested to see how Disney handles a Deadpool movie. But Jason, you said you recently watched the Atom Project and you liked Free Guy, so good news for you.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I think that my commentary to you earlier was they were absolutely entertaining movies, right? I don't think that they're meant to be picked apart too much. I don't think that there's any reason to comb over them the way that you do the MCU or DC or Star Wars or any of that stuff. Completely enjoyable. I think that the two of them teaming up again is something that does not bother me in any way, shape, or form. However, Deadpool has been a much more R-rated, crass kind of a deal, and the other two movies they've done together, I mean, particularly the Atom Project, it was a family film. I mean, aside from a couple of light curse words, it was very family friendly, and with a lot of very family focused not morals, but the point of the thing was to kind of give you
the whole father
on how important that family is, right? And what it means, and so not that there's not any of that in Deadpool, but the presentation is
slightly different.
It's kind of the same.
Same, different, but same. But I really think that there's a really good chance that it could be as good as the other ones, if not better. I mean, I don't have any reason to be upset about that pairing. I know. Yeah. Megan had enjoyed Free Guy also along with me. So does that bother you at all that they're going to work together, Megan?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't usually worry about who produces, directs, and all of that. I was just kind of looking him up here on IMDb and some of the different things that he's done. Like, I didn't realize he was the one involved with Stranger Things. So, I mean, no, that doesn't bother me at all. How Disney's going to handle it, I mean, I just hide it behind the pin. I think it'll be fine. But I love the first two Deadpools. First one more, I think, than the second one. But it's Ryan Reynolds. Like I hope I never get sick of him. Even though he seems to play the same kind of character over and over. Though Free Guy was a little bit different than his typical. But it was still, super enjoyable, fun movie that I stayed awake for. So I think that's notable.
That's how you know it's good.
That's Morgan's. That's his spectrum. Did I fall asleep or did I not fall asleep?
Yeah, fall asleep or didn't fall asleep.
So Morgan, you're excited for this movie as well, Deadpool 3.
Yeah, I know that it's going to be a rated R still. I know they announced that a bunch of times. So I'm excited. I think Disney will be able to add that flavor to it, the Marvel Studios, to kind of get their formula in there, but it's still going to be good. And I was always impressed with Deadpool 2's how they hid the fact that the Juggernaut was in the movie so well that that didn't even get leaked. Nobody knew that Juggernaut was going to be in it. So I know that. So we know the people that work on those movies are dedicated, and hopefully, we'll get some good surprises with this Deadpool. And I'm looking forward to him becoming canon in the MCU.
Hell yeah! I cannot wait to see what Kevin Feige has in store for Deadpool. We got a few trailers this week, so we got a trailer rundown here. We got first trailer up was DC League of Super Pets, quick Batman focused whatever the dog for Batman is called. Not much is there, but it's really great to see Keanu Reeves voice Batman. And when I was watching, I was like, "Who's that?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's Keanu Reeves!" And I'm like, "That's so perfect. He has a great voice for Batman." I'm looking forward to that movie. Anybody here like super jazzed about the DC League of Super Pets?
I am. I actually am. It's going to be good. I can take my kid, this will make up for the fact that I traumatized him by taking him to the Batman. This one, I feel like there's going to be a lot less murder in this. And I think Keanu Reeves could jump to the line of best Batman.
That's a good point. Yeah, it was the dog was really funny, and
oh yeah, that dog is great.
And Dwayne Johnson as Crypto is perfect too. I can't wait for that. Jason, you said you had your hand up high for that.
Oh
movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, the cast. I don't think it's probably best that I list off every single cast member on this, but the entire cast are.
It is a banger of a cast.
It's pretty much made up of all people that if they're releasing movies, I would go see, and they're all putting this together. And I have always enjoyed DC content and animation more than I've ever enjoyed the live action. And so and obviously if you've seen the trailer, there's a whole lot of comedy that's going into this movie. Yeah. I think this is going to be one of the things I enjoy seeing most.
Seriously, I mean, it looks really, really funny. You get John Krasinski as
John Krasinski, Superman. That's it. He is Superman.
Kevin Hart's in the movie.
Kevin Hart is. I forget who he is, but
he plays Ace.
He's the Batman's dog.
Yep.
Oh, is it? Yeah, that's right.
Whatever, man. If you watch the trailer, you hear him. I mean, him and DJ working together.
It's always gonna be gold.
Bad, right?
that's gold. That's printing money.
Yep. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool flick.
Absolutely. The next trailer we got was for a Josh Brolin Amazon Prime series. Maybe Josh Brolin, John Krasinski, and Chris Pratt team up. But watching this trailer, I immediately thought of Eric because, first of all, I thought I saw Will Patton in there. and I know you love Will Patton, but it felt very Yellowstone-y. So I'm like, oh man, are we going to get a run on Yellowstone type shows?
I don't know how to answer that based off that trailer.
Did it feel like Yellowstone to you?
I think so. It did have a very Utah, Montana, Idaho feel to it. You know, that Wild West, at least the setting. I think I saw the other day that Utah is working on some sort of huge tax break for the film industry there. So I think you probably are right. We probably will see a lot more stuff set in that area as far as, you know, kind of stuff coming forward. This show doesn't, other than the fact that there are horses in it and Will Patton, I don't think it has anything to do with, I don't know what the hell is going on in that trailer. Like, it just seems like I can't tell if it's supernatural or if we're looking at some pretty messed up dreams. I really can't tell. I really can't tell what's happening from that trailer. I really can't. I'm super intrigued. And as my wife would say, you watch some weird shit, honey, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I know. But I thought it looks really great. Brolin looks great and sounds great. You know, he's got that really great voice. And so, but then, you know, getting to see Will Patton in there, anytime I get a chance to watch that dude do something, I know I'm in for a treat. I really enjoy watching his stuff. So yeah, I'm in on this one for sure. I'll watch it. You know,
anybody else?
Files ish or.
Yeah, it definitely has an air of mystery to it there.
Yeah, I mean, if you got when you have Chick from Armageddon, and I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
love Will Patton. I do. He's love fantastic.
Everything he does.
I feel like I'm really hoping the vibe I got, and I'm really hoping this is what I get because this will just make my day. Is a cross between Yellowstone and Midnight Mass. Because Midnight Mass was one of my all-time favorite shows now. I love Yellowstone. I love, I mean, any cowboy stuff. If I could get a cross between them, I'm in heaven. That's what I want. That's what I'm really hoping.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Jason?
Oh, I was just saying Midnight Mass was awesome. So I mean, that was one of my favorite things I've watched.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can get that vibe in there, I'd be super into it. But like what Eric said, I don't really get what's going on yet. But
yeah. So. It does intrigue you a bit for sure. The way it's put is an intense trailer. Meg, is Outer Range in your range?
It's not on my radar at this point.
That's okay.
I mean, I like Josh Brolin and all. I hadn't caught that trailer, so it's not on my radar at this point.
Love Josh Brolin.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. The last trailer we got was DC TV show, not necessarily within the the superhero universe, but DC comic. DMZ with Rosario Dawson, who's very busy these days, but very talented actress. Love seeing her do anything. So I think I'll be intrigued to see more of this show. Anybody else very excited for the show?
I am. Yeah, because it's Vertigo Comics, right? Which is under DC's umbrella.
Right.
So I love that apocalypse style stuff. I know this isn't an apocalypse, but that's what it seems like. It's after a civil war in America happens again. And so it takes place after that. And New York is a
demilitarized
zone. And, Rosario Dawson's going in there to get her kid because when stuff happened, her kid got left behind. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think she's great. Everything she's in, she does a great job. And I think she has that, a very believable, she's going to go in there and whoop ass. Like that's her vibe. So I'm excited for it. I am. I love this kind of stuff. This escape from New York.
It felt like I Am Legend. Anybody else get that vibe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I think my biggest hesitation is that aside from Rosario Dawson, I don't really recognize a whole lot of the cast. I know Benjamin Bratt is in there, but I haven't seen him do anything for a really long time. And not that means the show's going to be bad, but we do talk a lot on here about how the cast is so great that I don't even know what's going on, but I'm going to see it, right?
Yeah.
So like flip
the adverse of that. Yeah,
it is. I mean, and I love Rosario Dawson. I love what she's doing. She's got Clerks 3 coming out this year.
Yeah.
She's got Ahsoka. She's got several other projects, and I am excited for all the other things going on. I think I'm just this hesitant about what's going to happen with this show, but I'm definitely intrigued enough to check it out when it
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I did see a theory this week for Ahsoka being the Jedi that is on Tatooine that maybe watches Luke while Obi-Wan goes off planet, and that's where, in the Book of Boba Fett, she's like, "Oh, we're old friends." So I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting theory." I don't know how they would do. They'd have to DH her by 20 years. We didn't talk about Darth Maul. I think the Duel of the Fates song really teases Darth Maul being in.
Yeah, maybe that's why
Kenobi.
he's on planet.
Honestly, we probably need to have a deeper dive.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, we're
coming up.
We're going back to Kenobi. We got to move on.
It is. It's a big show. It's a big show coming up.
I have so many things to say about what you.
I know. We got to move on.
I know. Darth Maul could be in this. I dream scenario for Kenobi is a 3-way Vader, Maul, and Kenobi fight. That would just be amazing. Probably should have worded that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, if we get that three-way, then that show, it tops the list of every show I've ever watched.
Get out of here! I'm not watching.
I thought you were going to say it tops the list of your 3-ways. Yeah, so, but, I appreciate you clarifying.
Could you even cuddle Darth Maul?
Yeah, right.
If you could animate that, I'd be more interested.
Yeah, that was an adult cartoon.
I definitely should have worded that a little bit better. But
Dynamite, Jason, Dynamite.
Big rundown this week. I know we even left some things off. Maybe put them on for next week and get to them. But really, really big, amazing stuff. One last piece is last week, Morgan and I were talking about the Gotham Knights video game. We thought it may have gotten delayed out of this year. It was confirmed this week that it's being released in October of this year. So exciting that we're going to get what seems to be a really great Batman family video game this year. So very, very excited about that. Glad we got that confirmation.
Yes.
NRDbox time. And the NRDbox this week comes from somebody on the show. Meg, you're like, I think now that you've taken the place of Morgan's like most NRDbox questions submitted, which I love. Great trophy to have.
Sweet.
And it's very topical because
I'll ship it to you.
Very Star Wars themed show with Kenobi coming out this week, or Kenobi trailer coming out this week. She writes in. Actually, Meg, why don't you read it since it's your question?
All right, I could do that. All right, so how heavily opposed would you guys be to a do-over of Star Wars, like the whole movie series? Not changing the ultimate storyline, but recast with better actors, better writing, and a whole lot less Jar Jar. Not that this would or could happen in real life, but in my mind, I've kind of remade a lot of the stuff, not necessarily with specific actors, actresses, that kind of thing, but just like Eric, you always say the dialogue, and that's why when I watched the first 3, I was like, this feels like it was written by and for 12-year-old boys. Like just the way they interacted with each other, like the
not how humans talk to each other.
That's not how humans talk to each other. And it's not, and like just the interaction between Han and Leia is just so, it just makes me cringe every time, like just their whole interaction. And then they wind up, spoiler alert, to get, it just, none of it made any sense to me. So
they're not together.
Too soon to ruin it. Too soon.
So you're saying, Meg, that you're in the camp of you'd like to see him remade?
In an ideal world, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I know you have some thoughts, Jason. Let us hear.
No, I got nothing, man. What do you got?
No, you're the one who said you had some thoughts.
Well, so I guess ideally I would love to see them remade. I don't. My major thought on this question and the way it's worded is that I think I would be more likely to get rid of the writing and the producers before I would worry about the cast that they were done with. I think that the people that were in those movies have done plenty of other things that have proven their acting chops, and I don't and I don't think that it was really probably any with an exception of maybe someone on the list of the entire cast of the Star Wars universe. I think it probably had a lot more to do with what they were being directed to do and how they were being told to make their performance land, and there were some really awful stuff that went on, especially in my opinion in some of the prequels. But I also am like one of the only people that kind of enjoyed Jar Jar.
God.
You're fired.
I don't think he fits in Star Wars. I'm not saying he fits there. I'm saying like a standalone, he wasn't that bad. But there's definitely
He's a like Jar Jar.
like a Jar Jar.
He's a like a Jar Jar.
But I think it had way more to do with the direction and the writing than the cast and in my ideal world we go back, keep the same cast and just get a little bit better direction on some of the stuff.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why the prequels are really hard to actually go back to, is because the acting is freaking and we were watching The Phantom Menace earlier today, and so Jake Lloyd, 8-9 years old, I cannot fault him for his performance, but it made me think of like a you remember the celebrity deathmatch show they used to have? What if they had like
oh, I love that, dude.
What if they had Jake Lloyd versus Haley Joel Osment?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I don't know. That was my thought.
I want to see him versus like young Anakin versus like teen / early 20s Anakin. Yeah. And have them fight over how weird that both their performances were.
Yeah, seriously.
No,
yeah, I'd be like the adverse of the Spider-Man in No Way Home, kind of giving each other props. Eric, you said you were kind of 50-50, right?
Yeah. I don't like if you could just if you left 3 pieces of Star Wars, I guess 3 or 4 pieces of Star Wars alone, that original trilogy, I know Meg maybe doesn't feel that way. That original trilogy, while not perfect, is pretty doggone good, the way it is. Like I enjoy at least the first 2. The third one I wasn't that big of a fan of, but it was still good, and it was a good way to wrap up the trilogy, and it wrapped up that nicely, so that you could, if you just left it those 3 films, I don't think anybody would have been like, but when we moved into the prequel trilogy, and you can't do that. You can't do that again ever. So you tell 4, 5, and 6 the way you tell them, and then you go back and you tell 1, 2, and 3. You could never do 1, 2, and 3, and then go into 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. You just, because the weight of that scene in 5 where he says, it just doesn't have the same power as it does when you watch Empire Strikes Back, and he's just cut his hand off, and all this stuff. And he's like, hey, this is, that is a giant nuclear bomb. That's a bomb that gets dropped, and everybody in the audience is like, oh my God, and so
there's 2 of them too, because the Leia being his sister is something.
You get that a little bit. Yeah. If you went and remade, if you went back and you remade, and then I think the other film that I would preserve and not touch is Rogue One. Yeah. I think you're good with that one. and then the Mandalorian series, I don't think we touched that one. Everything else, if you want to go back,
it's all about the movies, though. So Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, So if you just wanted to do movies, if you wanted to go back and redo 1, 2, and 3, and then 7, 8, 9, I would not have a problem with it. And I would not be surprised if they do Memory Hole 7, 8, 9 it somehow through some sort of time thing or whatever. Or maybe they'll be like, you know what, go stuff yourself, and we're going to leave it the way it is, and we'll just tell other stories. And I think that's probably what will end up happening. Is they're just going to tell other stories. They're going to move on from the Skywalkers. They're going to move on from.
We've had the Skywalker saga. There's,
there's so much.
To move on from
that. I agree. I think it's a better move.
Yeah. I want to see old Republic stuff, dude. Give me some old Republic stuff.
Well, it's a galaxy far, far away. A long time ago in a galaxy. There's plenty of other stories. Like that's the part that gets me is like, why do we keep going back to this crap hole planet of Tatooine? Like, why does everything happen on this one stupid desert planet? Is it because you got like a sweet deal on filming rights
on sand?
In hot sand, or what's the deal?
I get why Kenobi has to be there, like Boba Fett being
but it's like, come on, like let's move on. There's got to be more planets than this, folks. Than just that. Film some shit in Iceland. Like there's some super cool places in Iceland, or you could do like go back
more like cold.
We don't need to go to Hoth. We could go. The third planet in the Hoth system is this one called Hoth. I don't know.
I think you'd be less pissed about it being on Tatooine if they had done a better job with that Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely.
I don't think you
100% agree with that.
You couldn't care less where they filmed that thing if it hadn't sucked.
Yeah, that's 100% on that.
There's a lot of cool filming.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of cool. Well, I was just gonna say, there's a lot of cool filming locations around the planet. Let's move on from the Tatooine desert. Yeah. And and telling all the stories around an outer rim planet, which I think is going to come into the fact that we want to go Yoda and Obi-Wan,
some good stories.
Yeah, the fact that Yoda ends up on an outer rim planet. Tatooine is an outer rim planet. That's not a coincidence that those guys are further out and away from
hiding.
They're hiding out there. So. I
hadn't even thought about the fact that Yoda could be showing up in this movie.
Well,
or in this Obi-Wan series.
There's a scene in the trailer where two pods that look very similar to the pod that Yoda got in to escape the planet there at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Two pods going off in their separate ways, and that could be Yoda's pod going off and Obi-Wan's pod. So I would not be surprised if we got some Yoda in this.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to come out and do some episodes over what's going
on. Yeah,
maybe we get a Yoda Luke deal. Like from season 2 of Mandalorian, maybe we get a Yoda shows up and cracks some skulls, or something. I don't know.
We'll see.
Starts training. Baby
puts people to sleep.
Honestly, we're gonna need to spend more time on Kenobi.
Yeah, there's a lot
because I got a lot more that I got to get to on that. But I'm right there with you, Eric. You can't redo the original trilogy, but you can redo. Even though I love the prequels and I hate the prequels, you can redo it. You can redo it, and you're just not gonna get the magic ever from the original trilogy ever again. So there's no need to redo those. And Empire Strikes Back is the greatest movie of all time, so I would hate to see that rebooted. But last person on the show. Morg, any thoughts there?
Redo it all. That way you're making
cut out Luke Skywalker.
No, you're making 9 movies. You're going into it that you have 9 movies. You need to write a story from beginning to end. Not this BS of like, oh, now we're doing this and this. So you got to make you're going into it knowing you have 9 movies you're making, and you're going to tell this arc and change it up. I mean, keep a lot of it the same. And with like the Spider-Man approach of the new Spider-Man, we didn't have to watch the Ben Parker crap again because we know it. We know Darth Vader is his father. We know it. So we're going to accept it. We don't need to see that twist. So release it from 1 to 9. You go that route. And we're going to see it and just say, hey, we're changing the story a little bit and go with it. And
I like that.
That's what I would like. That's what I would like.
Yeah,
I think that's
you're
a
basically saying,
really good take.
Like remake it, but you can't ignore the fact that the other ones already came out, right? So
Like, I mean, just think of like if you had Kevin Feige making Star Wars, and he's planning 10 years of shit.
Obi-Boning off that.
You know what I mean? So he's planning 10 years of stuff because that's what he does. So you're gonna get. Let me call him. Hold on, let me give a.
Feige,
Hey Siri, call Kevin Feige.
Getting hot in here.
Yeah. Oh man, we got to do
make that happen.
We got to do an episode where we recast every single character from Star Wars.
Hell yeah, dude. Let's
So I do that stuff so much just for fun.
That's for sure.
If we could pull
sure,
like
dude.
$5,000, we could probably buy the rights to Star Wars from Disney. We can make this.
Yeah, easy. Very easy.
Easy.
We're on our way.
Funniest thing I've heard all night. That's great stuff, Maury.
That actually is a really fire take, more. I would love if that was what was going to happen. I would think that would be the only way to do that. So great job. I like that.
Could you if they worked in Cal into the sequels?
I really hope that they don't keep Cal's story to the video games.
No, they need to bring him.
You get an actor like that who's well known, and you can easily just pop him into a movie. You don't have to worry about
He's such a good
visual
actor.
effects of any kind. Be amazing. So, man, amazing show today. I love talking about it all. I cannot
Big
wait.
one.
Cannot wait for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Daredevil season 4, Terminal List, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is gonna be so good. So those are 4 things I've been waiting all week to talk to y'all about. Cannot wait to even talk about it more as we move forward. We're gonna go hop on the presents. We've got a game from Meg Bradbury coming up. She's on a roll making these games. I cannot wait. It's all about
calling her butter.
It's all about scores. So we got the music nerd on with us. We got the score nerds. I just want to make sure nobody but Morgan loses. So that's my goal. Did I miss a joke in here?
Yeah.
You'll catch it when you watch the show.
That's fine. Yeah, you'll catch it on Tuesday.
Is it a dick joke?
You'll catch the bad joke.
Was
You'll
it-
catch the
was it
bad
a
joke when you
totally
watch it.
misplaced dick joke?
No dick jokes.
Maybe
Yeah.
the first joke that wasn't a misplaced dick joke.
First time ever. I don't know. I like my dick jokes. So anyway,
Yeah.
cannot wait to jump on the presents, play the game with y'all. So if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to hit the like and subscribe button
Comment.
and comment. And thanks everybody for all your fire takes today. Appreciate it. Let us know what you think.
Reviews on every podcast, whatever that you listen to that's on.
100%. Leave reviews and comments. Actually, the reviews are amazing. Just not only do they help the show, but we like hearing what you think about the show. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, see you guys next week on the Nerd Rundown.
Doses.
Grief.
Bye.